All right, this is the Coast to Coast Combat Hour. Ed Carbajal, as always, here with Matthew Hawkins, brought to you by AllAccessMMA.com. Make sure you visit All Access MMA for your mixed martial arts news. This week's guest, we have UFC flyweight Brandon Royval. Hopefully, I didn't mess that up.
Nah, you're good
Brandon,
right
thanks
there.
for joining us.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
So, Brandon, you're coming off your first UFC win in your debut over a named fighter that's got you to a main card slot now for UFC 253 pay-per-view. How's the jump been? I know you weren't impressed with your performance overall in your first fight, so we don't need to talk about that much. But just in general, what does it feel like to come from LFA, basically do your whole move up there and pay-per-view on one of the card of the year, main events right now?
It's wild. I feel like I still have a hard time, I don't know, just comprehending that it's going to be like a pay-per-view card, main event. Like, I don't know. It's unrealistic to me to think about if we had crowds here and there was if it wasn't the situation that it is, it'd be a packed crowd at T-Mobile Arena or something cool like that. So I don't know. It seems unrealistic because it's not happening, but the fact of the matter is that it would be that situation and that it's that important of a fight, the main events. But to me, of course, it's an important fight no matter what.
So there's a lot of there's a lot to look forward to. I mean, it's only a few weeks away. Where are you at as far as mentally, physically, weight, and all that? As far as from where we're at now, how intense are you taking the training? And are there any jitters because of where the fight's happening?
Well, it's probably gonna be the last really hard week because I think I leave like mid next week. So this last week and a half is gonna be as hard as it's gonna get. Then we'll start tapering off and just making sure that we're healing all injuries and everything's set to go on that. But as far as that goes, man, we're right on track. We have it calculated. So I don't even have to do any thinking as far as I have a new nutritionist and my coaches and all that. They peak me perfect time, and then my nutritionist has my weight exactly where it needs to be at all times. So it's really good, man, because it's really good now that we're in the UFC now, and that I came from a really big promotion or a promotion like LFA, which is what I consider a big promotion, and it's just a great way to ease into the professionalism of fighting, right? Is I got a nutritionist now. I know when to peak. I know exactly where I need to be when I need to be it. And now we're just dialed in and getting used to exactly what we're about to do, man. And like I said, it doesn't get any easier, but when you have people that know exactly where you should be at and it's a little bit of that thinking out of the process of it, it helps out a lot, man. So shout out to my nutritionist, man. I have a great nutritionist, Tyler Mitten, and then my strength and conditioning coaches at Landau Performance, and then my main coaches. They have me ready, and they, like I said, this has actually been really cool because I wasn't expecting, especially during the COVID times, is I got this fight 3-4 months. I think we're one of the first fights scheduled on the September 26th card, and yeah, I just feel super grateful that I had this much time to prepare. Everybody else was fighting on week notices and stuff, and I just kind of got to ease into this one, and especially having my second fight in the UFC, you want to earn your stripes and all that, and earn your stripes with the promotion. And the fact of the matter is that they gave a fight 3 months out, and I get a fight on a big card and on a big stage, and with a great position right before as far as right now, right before the title fights,
What's your weight like? What do you generally walk in around at?
You're gonna go there with me, man? No, I'm just kidding. It's 140, which is exactly where I need to be at. It's 140, so it's not like I'm 135 and I could make 125 tomorrow, but we're easing into it. You know what I'm saying? So the weight's not great, but it's always right around there anyway. So everything's
still a couple weeks out.
Trimming. Yeah, exactly. We have plenty of time to do it. I made that weight in a week before too, so. It's nice to just know that you have to if you can make a week, but that being said is we got really professional about it, and I've been doing nothing but dieting this whole entire time,
How's training been with all the every state's been handling the COVID situation differently, so I'm not sure how's it been by you off the top of my head, but with training and are your partners limited? Do you have just a certain set of guys you're working with? How are you getting ready for this one?
For me specifically, I actually have a lot of guys that can emulate, or that can beat Kai France, or like a version of Kai France. Kai France isn't like Elliott where it's like a mystery and there's nobody else in the world that fights like him. He fights kind of typical, has a big right hand, sets it up really well, and I have a lot of guys in my gym that can do that, and so it's actually been really cool, like having training partners to like kind of give me that look. But as far as like the COVID affecting us, it's not really affecting us at all. We're just staying safe. We're all kind of just going to work, going to the gym, and not doing anything else. And we have like an agreement as a team to do that, just so we all know like what the cost of not being able to fight is, So.
Do you feel like there's any advantage to the fact that you've gone through the COVID fight week, basically? I know this one's supposed to be on Fight Island, correct? So that'll be different, but France hasn't fought with all the testing and quarantine kind of situation. Do you think that'll be advantage since you've been through it before?
I don't think it's going to be an advantage necessarily like that, because I think he has a lot of teammates fighting on card, which means if you have one professional fight on the card, you can have 3 cornermen, which means he's going to have like 9, 10, 11, like 12 people out there just in support of him and like teammate wise. So I don't think as far as him being quarantined and stuff, like it's going to play too much an advantage for me. But I do see like we're not playing an advantage, but like not being a disadvantage for me is that we don't have a crowd out there. And I don't know how it would react with like a huge crowd, man. Honestly, like I get like hyped up as is when nobody's fighting and like in any fight, but like a crowd, man, like that'll like get me. I don't know, man. So I think that like it would be a disadvantage if I had a huge crowd compared to him, where he's competing in like Auckland and those huge arenas and in front of huge crowds and on big cards like this before. So he's had the pleasure to do that already, and like this is something I'm kind of getting adjusted to, and I guess not really having to get adjusted to because of the whole COVID thing. So.
But it's not foreign to you. I mean, you fought in front of crowds before, just not. I mean, you're talking about like that big arena type environment, right?
Yeah, I fought in front of like a couple thousand, like you know what I'm saying, and like in front of like TV and stuff like that. But like it changes when you fill up like a whole arena. You know what I'm saying? Or like I don't know. I'm sure it does. I don't know. I didn't know, but yeah, I fought in front of. I've main evented like 2 hometown cards where it was like huge crowds, and that was super cool, man. It was like it was really cool, like a delight. But I think it'd be a little different when it comes to the numbers,
And you fought on I mean, I was looking at your record. You fought on a World Series of Fighting card. They used to fill up their places pretty good too.
Oh yeah, and that one was one with Justin Gaethje. Who's fighting one of my teammates actually. But it was like his college town's like a small town like on the side of Colorado, and that was full, man. So that was actually another one of those things. But I fought early on in the card, and it wasn't really that crowded. It wasn't like it was when Justin Gaethje started like in the walk,
You're the first person I've really I've heard really state that that's the difference. A lot of these guys act like it doesn't make a difference, and it's kind of weird. I mean, just the fact they threw you in there against Tim Elliott. Now you're getting France. You're getting two of the top 10 world, flyweights, and then yourself. You're hypothetically, if you fought one more time, maybe in a number 1 contender bout, your first fight in front of a live crowd, that mega could be a title fight. I mean, you're getting to that point.
That's what I was thinking too, man. Is like I'm rising up the rankings so quick, and I got the opportunity to. I haven't beat Kai France yet, but like I have the opportunity to rise up in the rankings super quick, and I don't know. It's gonna be like if I do end up getting like in a situation, I might ever have to deal with like the no crowd, like the pre-crowd or whatever. I could start like putting myself in a position to be at the top of these cards, and hopefully like what you like expect or would not expect, but like what you want or like hope for, like that you could be in that position, but. I don't know, man, but like that's a good point, man, and that's like what I was hoping on. Is like by the time I'm getting kicked out of the UFC and ready to retire, that they're gonna have a crowd back, and I missed the whole goddamn thing, But like, I don't know, man. It seems like the rise is coming like fast, or have the opportunity for the rise to be fast, and like I said, I'm just trying to take it on, to try to ride that wave, but at the same time, yeah, man, that's really cool, and like I don't know, yeah. So I went off on a tangent.
So, I mean, talking about your opponent, how do you think you measure up against him? I mean, you have a hefty amount of like submission victories to your record. Do you think that's like a strength you have against? I don't know if it's Cara France. I don't know how to say his last name because he's got 3 names.
Kai France? Yeah, it's Kai France. I think I match up really well. I think this is a good like an ideal matchup for me. I think that I can beat him everywhere. I think I have the ability, but I think that the obvious thing is I have a huge advantage on the ground, and to not try to take it there would probably be wouldn't be the smartest idea for me, and I think it'd open up my game anyway. So I think I have a massive advantage on the ground, and we'll see. We'll see if it gets there. If it gets there, man, I think that the fight wraps up real quick. But as far as me matching up with him, I think our styles are like, I don't know. I feel like I'm the longer, rangy fighter. I know how to fight long. I know how to set things up, and he does a lot of good stuff too. He sets up his right perfectly, and I just gotta not let him do that. I feel like I have more tools in my utensil than him. I feel like I have more weapons in my arsenal. That goes everywhere. That goes on feet. I think I use my knees and elbows and kicks way better than he does. He has really good boxing, but he sticks primarily with that. And on the ground, I don't think there's a contest as far as it hitting the mat. If I'm on my back or on top, I don't think it's that big of it's that like fair of a fight, or like we're that even there, you know. So, but that being said, I've never seen this dude ground game. So like, what if he was like a wizard, just like jump triangle on my ass? Like, I could talk shit all day, but like that being said, there's not really any like evidence of his ground game that I can find, you know. So
yeah. I mean, because you seem to have I mean, obviously you're training. It looks like your reactions are when you're in trouble. Your reaction time seems awesome, based on the pace that I've seen you fight at. But so I mean, with someone like this, it seems like. Is it normal for you to do this? It looks like you've studied him a lot. You watch a lot of tape on your opponents, or is it just him specifically because of where it's at?
I watch tape on all my opponents. I watch tape on the whole flyweight division and just as much tape as possible. Especially not having a job and like not now that I'm able not to work, all I do is watch fight, man. And it's like the only thing that I can do. It's like crazy because you like want all this like free time and stuff. Next thing you know, you're just watching fighting all day, and like now I'm like, damn, I need to go get like a side job or something. I don't know. But yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. It's not just him. I watch tape on the whole entire division. I know exactly what everybody does. But it's really cool that I get to go back and like sit back and watch tape, and then I don't know, on Kai Kara France because he's a person to study, and yeah. So there's a lot you can take. You can learn from him, and a lot I can take away and take an advantage. And people that have beat him or people that he's fought that I kind of take away and add on to my game with it and add on to my plan with it too. So
what when you started to get into mixed martial arts, I'm guessing if you look, yours says you're 28, so you go back 10 years, 12, 13 years, guys like Shogun and Liddell and a lot of the light heavyweights. BJ Penn was the most famous lightweight really at that time. What who was it that was there anybody that you eventually looked at and you said, you know what, I can do that as a smaller weight fighter, and really kind of inspired you to say we can, you know, I can kick ass too?
Yeah, it's actually weird, kind of like going back and watching like the people that I like looked up to fighting, because I'm out there doing the exact same stuff as they are, and like I don't know, it's like you can see a little bit of piece of me off my favorite fighters, and that's what I like. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of like a lot of people. As far as like the smaller names or like the smaller guys, I was a huge Shinya Aoki fan. Shinya Aoki was one of my favorite fighters when I was younger, and you know who doesn't get enough credit, and like it's so fun. It's like when I think about this guy. It's like he was the best in the world at a time, possibly the best in the whole world, and nobody ever like gives him credit. But Miguel Torres, man, huge hero of mine, man. Miguel Torres was someone I looked up to when I was younger, and I didn't think like when I watched him, I'm like, oh, I could do that. It was like, oh, I hope I can be able to like fight like that one day and take a little bit of that. It wasn't like anything that could be, and I'm like, oh, I could do that. It was like, well, that's cool, and like just try to take from as much as you possibly can, man. I have like a ton of heroes in the sport, people that I copy their style, but I remember like as far as little guys go, Miguel Torres was the man. I was young, man. Miguel Torres was like, and like honestly, he could have been like he was probably the greatest fighter at the time. You know, when he was a champion, he could have been the best fighter out there. Like, but nobody ever talks about that. Like he was great. He could have been the greatest in the world, and like nobody ever says anything about it. But Miguel Torres had a complete jiu-jitsu game, great stand-up, great wrestling. He was boxing boxers up. He was submitting people at will, and he was just great, man. So that's a big dude I give a lot of my love to, and a lot of my love for Miguel Torres, especially when I was younger, man. Those little guys were my favorite, and they're my favorite because they were ahead of the game. They're doing more technical stuff, cooler stuff, and I love Shogun, and like I think Chuck Liddell, I can give a lot of credit for just falling in love with the sport because Chuck Liddell, and like there's plenty of other people like that, but as far as little guys goes, man, like Shinya Aoki was one of my favorites. BJ Penn, of course, one of my favorites. Anybody who could strike and could choke a motherfucker, that was like who I was looking up to. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like my jam. So yeah, those two especially.
So is watching guys like that, is like that's how you fell into fighting, like, or did you join a jiu-jitsu school because of watching that stuff like that? Like, well, how'd you get drawn into the fight game?
So like we were big boxing fans when I was younger. I was huge on boxing, and me and my brother used to box like every day, like pretty much like weekly, every day, and like we'd train together and we work out, and I don't know, we'd watch MMA and UFC and stuff, but like I hated the ground game. The ground game was lame to me. I hated kicks. It was just, you're looking for people that can block. If they're throwing head kicks, I was cool with it. Like leg kicks, like lame. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like, I don't know. I was still stuck on boxing. Like I don't know. But even when I started MMA, I was like, leg kicks are dumb. Like leg kicks are for sis. Who kicks? Like you better throw these hands. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah. But I don't know. My brother started taking me down, or like maybe not take me down. When we clinch up, he'd choke me and put me in a guillotine, and like he'd do a bunch of shit that I've never even known. Like I was fast forward through it. I thought it was lame, you know. And then you realize, you're like, damn, this guy can choke me like this. Like, so I always say this. I don't know if it's necessarily true, but like I think I just started MMA and kickboxing just so I can get advantage and whoop my brother's ass and like try to restore balance in there. Because he's my older brother, but like he had a big advantage when it hit the ground, or like when we start tying up and stuff. He'd start choking me and putting me in submissions and shit. I didn't even know what it was, you know. So yeah, one of my first like ground memories is me getting guillotined and put to sleep by him, and yeah, so then I realized, I'm like, all right, I got to do some studying, and I got to, like, so we would, like, I would have stopped fast-forwarding through jiu-jitsu stuff and, like, the ground game, and then I'd watch YouTube, and then next thing you know, like, we're getting pretty good at it, and I was like, all right, well, let's take it to the next step, and, like, let's learn how to do this, you know, and, like, my intention was never to fight, but, like, it was always just kind of gain a leg up on my brother, and the next thing you know, I'm entering jiu-jitsu tournaments, and next thing you know, my coach is like, oh, you turn 18 this day? Like, all right, we're fighting, we've got you a fight, and then next time, fucking going pro, and I don't know, right here, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like anything. Yeah. It was just me loving the sport, and it all kind of just fell into the natural place it should go. Once you like love a sport, you put a lot of work into it. It ended up just me getting thrown in jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I was winning jiu-jitsu tournaments, and then after that, my coach is like, hey man, like you're turning 18 soon, like we're getting you a fight on your 18th birthday, and then next thing you know, I'm amateur, and then I'm doing that. So it kind of turned into like I don't know, to what it is now.
That's cool. It snowballed for you. That's nice.
So you're one of the rare fighters that you're born and raised in Denver, right? So you're born and raised at elevation?
Yeah, Denver. Yep, still here. It's snowing right now. Some bullshit, honestly.
So you had 100 degrees yesterday, and now it's snowing today?
Yeah, I had AC on and the heater on today, man. AC on yesterday, heater on today. It's stupid. I don't even. It was like 100 degrees for sure or something. Yeah, exactly. And then it was like fucking snowing, and yeah, whatever.
But so growing up there, though, you always hear people go up there to train for the elevation, and people always talk about how the elevation affects the fights. Have you noticed? That you're just naturally, you know, you've lived there your whole life, so it's not a thing. When you go fight down the mountain, do you feel the difference in your lungs?
I'm not necessarily. I don't know. Not really. I've never necessarily felt it, but I do see it when other athletes come to Colorado and come train with this. I can see it like in their facial expression. Like you say, like you can tell that they don't have as much as they normally have it. Like they're breathing, they seem like a lot more uncomfortable and all that. But I never noticed specifically. Like I've always just thought I had a really good cardio, and I always kind of like put that as a point of like what my strengths are as far as fighting goes. I'm a cardio-based athlete, and I put a lot of numbers up, and like that's always kind of what I've been like striving for or been good at, and I don't know. So it probably is something that's a huge advantage that I just always chalked up as an advantage for me, no matter what it is, because I feel like I have good cardio out of all flyweights, or like out of a lot of my like training partners and stuff here. I'm a cardio-based athlete. I think a lot of my style is not like fast twitch, like quick explosions. I think a lot of it's just putting up, constantly chipping, and constantly working, which can be cool because that's exactly like how I can kind of beat Kyle France. Is just chip away the whole entire time. He throws big punches. I'm a chipper, you know what I'm saying? So just find that finish that way, and find the openings that way, and like I said, cardio just comes with like not having like not necessarily like I don't not have power or whatever, but like not having as much power, I have to chip more and be more cardio based athlete and put up more quantity than just hard punches and stuff too. So it's just part of my game that I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's fun, and I'm not trying to blow up your head, but I'm gonna say it anyway because it sounds it's just from what I've noticed, from what I've seen in your fights, you hear the be water term, the Bruce Lee quote. I mean, it seems like when you're in trouble, you kind of just envelop into it and capitalize, and like your reaction is it's almost like the whole philosophy of being water. I mean, if I were to describe the way that you fight, especially if you're in trouble spots, that's what I noticed about you. I mean, is that kind of like an accurate assessment of when you're flowing in like mid fight and you're focused and everything else is cut out? Is that an accurate assessment?
I wouldn't like maybe it's an accurate assessment, but like I never really thought of it in the sense of being like water. But like I always kind of feel like I there's like a point, and like especially in certain fights I've hit it. But like you just feel free, man. You just feel like free in there, and like you just like you're reacting, and you're just like you are just going with the flow, and like you said, flowing like water is a good way to put it. But like I always just kind of thought like free, But flowing like water is a great way to put it. It's just like you're just flowing, and you're reacting. You're not overthinking, and like I think I'm one of those people like I overthink a lot of things. Like I overthink everything I do pretty much. But in there you can't overthink. Like, once the bell rings, like with cameras in your face and like they're announcing your name, you go overthink everything. I'm overthinking everything. I'm like, fuck, man. Like one of my friends that didn't like me in high school or whatever it is watching right now, and I don't want to get fucked up right in front of the dude. And, like, I don't know, some stupid shit like that. But like the moment that bells rings and like it's a fight, man, and you get lost in the fight, and you get lost not in like necessarily the art, but like you get lost in what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And like once you put in the hours here, and I think every fighter will say it, but like once you put in the hours and the work, that you don't need to go out there and think. You don't need to go out there and overthink. And the more you think, the more in danger you're probably going to be. You got to go out there and like flow. You got to go out there and just feel it, and you got to be free. And hopefully you're training. We have a quote in the gym, and God, I'm gonna fuck it up for sure. But it's like you don't rise to the level of your expectations. You fall to the level of your training, and that's exactly how I feel, man. Is like you're going to your training, and like everything kind of falls back to like your natural ability, what you're gonna do. Because you start thinking, and you're like, all right, my expectation is this, it's whatever. You're like, you got to let your body take over, and I don't know. I like that you said that, and it makes it like it probably is something that's gonna blow my head a little bit. But like, it's something that I like too, because I like that. It's one of those few fighting is one of like being in an actual fight is one of the few scenarios where I'm just not thinking. I'm just flowing and just doing, and that's like kind of the beauty behind it. I overthink everything in life, but the moment you're fighting, you can't think. Like it's not like you're in trouble if you start thinking.
You mentioned the timing of your bout in comparison to the title fight of Figueiredo and Garbrandt. Not to look too far ahead. Well, it's not looking far ahead. But do you have any opinion on that fight? Do you have one of those two guys that you'd rather match up with in the future if given the opportunity?
As far as those two matching up, I think it's gonna be like a crazy firefight. I can't wait. And as far as matching up, I hope those two go in there and just beat each other's brains in and take a couple months off each other's career or whatever, and then I go, capitalize on a Bruce beating whoever lost the fight. No, I'm just kidding. But like ideally, that's probably what's good. Like ideally, those two are gonna bash each other's heads in. They both hit hard. They're fast, and I don't know. It's such a great fight, and I'm so excited to watch them like match up. I don't really have a guess who's gonna win, but I do kind of just hope they beat the shit out of each other, and you know what I'm saying? So I could ease in for like a damage, go in there with a concussed fighter. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. It's a good fight no matter what, and like I said, I'm just trying to fit in wherever I can. I don't necessarily care where I'm at with either one of them. I think as far as like style-wise, I think Garbrandt's the more technical of the two fighters, but they're both a little wild, and I think there'd be more ways for me to capitalize on Figueiredo striking and stuff, because he's still like a loose cannon, but at the same time, that fool could probably take a punch and like I don't know, man. That fool, I don't know. That dude's a beast, So I don't know. I'm glad to see that those two can chip each other first, and then you know, I'll get my way there somehow. But
Well, I mean,
Awesome.
the way things are going, it seems like you'll be there sooner, rather than later. I got one last question for me anyway. I just only because every time I was doing my homework on you, it just kept jumping at my eyes. Raw Dog. Where's the nickname come from?
the nickname came from just like a drunk guy in a crowd and just yelling it like "Raw Dog Royval," and then like us joking about it, and then it kind of just stuck. And then after I like won a fight with it as like my nickname, it was actually a real serious fighting fight. I won that, and like I used it for my nickname the first time. See if they'd say it on TV, and I knocked the dude out, and I was like, well, we'll stick with the name for now. And it was just kind of something that like. I don't know. It's just funny, and like it's a nice way to kind of ease my mind right before I go fight, and it'll be something you can say it on pay-per-view. It'd be a nice way for me to be like, in the middle of my head, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get fucked up in front of this guy that hated me in high school, and then to say Raw Dog, and I can giggle for a second and ease my mind. All right, well, it's not. Don't overthink this shit, you know. Like this is fun, somewhat.
Well, when you become the champion, you can be Crown Royval.
Right. Oh, that's a badass. I don't even know. I honestly don't like it. If it wasn't for Raw Dog and it being as funny as it is to me at least, like I don't think I'd have a nickname. I never was really a huge fan of nicknames, but the fact that it's Raw Dog is, I have to stick with it, man. I don't know.
Yeah. You can get the Crown Royal sponsorship though, and then you can be Crown
Oh,
Royval.
that's a good idea. I know. I should have taken ahead. I don't know. Shout out to Modelo. It's like after my fight, like, I would love a Modelo right now. Try to ease my way into sponsorship.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Brandon. Well, thanks for joining us. Do you want to throw out any handles on Twitter or Instagram or anything people can follow you?
I mean, follow me at Brandon Royval everywhere. I think I'm like the only Brandon Royval. But just real quick too, I just want to shout out to my sponsors, EAP Glass, Ed and Cyrus. They take care of me. You can see the hat, man. They made it easy for me to quit my job, man. So I appreciate them and appreciate everything you do, man. And thank you guys for your time.
No problem. Check us out at allaccessmma.com. You can check out the podcast on Twitter at Combat Hour, Coast-to-Coast Combat Hour on Instagram. Follow me, Matthew Hawkins, at MMAHawk21 on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Ed at Carbazol on Twitter and Carbeerzol on Instagram. Look ahead to Brandon's fight at UFC 253 against Kai Kara France, pay-per-view main card. Best of luck, Brandon. Thanks for your time.
Hey, thank you, brother. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.